Direct Connection is made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you. Live from Maryland Public Television, this is Direct Connection with Jeff Salkin.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for Direct Connection. Coming up tonight, we'll get answers to your questions on the Zika virus. But first tonight, the advertising war inside the political war that is the 2016 campaign. Joining us tonight is Drew Babb of Drew Babb and Associates, also an adjunct professor of communications at American University. Drew, it's great to see you again.
Good to see you, Jeff. Happy Super Tuesday Eve.
Indeed it is.
Whatever
we see you every 2 years or so.
That's it.
You show your students these political ads.
We do.
What do they think?
They both praise them and they damn them. I mean, we're looking for great ads. The politics is important. My students at AU are brilliant strategists. They're policy oriented. The theme of the school is the place for wonks. We won't talk about that as an ad line, but anyway. And so they're very attuned to that. But what I try to do is get them to look at ads and kind of deconstruct and find out what makes a great ad, not a political message, even though they are.
Is it different? Is a political ad different than an ad for a truck or a beer brand or no?
Oh, absolutely. And it's two different worlds. God bless them, they have smaller budgets for production. They have huge media budgets. They don't have much time if you're closing in on election day. They get a new poll, and so they have to have a new spot in the air by 6 o'clock tonight. In the real world, we have a few more minutes to think about it. We test it. Instead of research with focus groups and just polling, we take our commercials out to shopping malls and ask people what they think, and then we can project it. But they don't have much time. The candidates want to put every buck into the media buy and not into production values. So it's a tough business.
Most of our viewers have not seen any political ads this cycle. For folks in Virginia who can see us, of course, the primary day is tomorrow there, and may have seen some of these spots. But we thought we'd play a few ads, and we can either start with some of the nice stuff or the nasty stuff.
Oh, let's go with nasty.
Yeah, let's go with the nasty stuff. This is a political action committee. This is an anti-Trump PAC, and a 30-second spot that debuted a couple of days ago.
I love the poorly educated.
That's really what Donald Trump is all about. He thinks we're fools. Trump uses sleazy bankruptcy laws to avoid paying workers. He bans disabled veterans from his high-rise. He even tried to use eminent domain to kick a widow from her home. Donald Trump puts himself first and us last.
I love the poorly educated.
Conservative Solutions PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Well, that one has everything. It's got the music, it's got the grainy video, the black and white video. How do you rate it as an advertisement?
My students would probably, at this point, we're 7 weeks into our semester, and we've been watching 10 or maybe around 10 spots each week and really getting into it. What's the takeaway? What are the production values? Is it good? Is it bad? My students are enough savvy that they look into this. Oh, everything in the toolbox that you just said has been used. Unflattering photographs, type that you can't read, a snarky voice, bad music, all that stuff.
Snarky, I was looking for the word. That was a snarky voice.
It was.
Now, does that ad throw too much at them all at once?
I believe so. I think, people watching political ads are like smart consumers anyway. After a while, that stuff blends. You're not watching for commercials. You're watching for the next show, for the next.
Especially when you get into the part of campaign season where the airwaves are completely full
back to back,
rock'em sock'em negative ads. We're not quite there yet, so maybe it's a little bit different.
We're not quite there yet, but that spot you just showed, which we've seen all of its little weird brothers and sisters on the air for all the PACs, and PACs are notorious at doing a spot just like that. But after a while, when they're back to back, chock-a-block, people I think fade out. First of all, they're unattractive and negative, and they're identical.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question about political advertising or a comment, give us a call. We'll have the number on the screen. You can also tweet your questions. The Twitter address is @MPT News. Now for the pro-Trump side, I looked at his YouTube page and didn't see normal commercials. What I saw were a lot of 30-second clips of Mr. Trump looking at the camera and delivering what appears to be an ad-libbed message. Here's an example.
I have a great education. I went to an Ivy League college, but I'm not politically correct, because to be politically correct just takes too much time. It takes too much effort. We have to get things done in this country, and you're never going to get it done if we just stay politically correct.
So he puts that up on YouTube, he tweets it, he puts it on Facebook, and he doesn't seem to spend as much money buying 30-second chunks of airtime as the other candidates, because he doesn't have to. He's on CNN whenever he wants.
His middle two names are earned media. I mean, and he's a master at it. He gets, because Donald Trump is news. So every time he has a rally, he says something outrageous, and the media covers it as news. So why buy ads? But they have talked him in. That is sort of like an iPhone ad. But there are ones.
What do you mean?
Well, it's just this big, and he's talking into it, and that's about it. It seems, like most junior high VOTEC students could do something just as well.
So production value is not much. It was well shot. That's
okay, arguably. He has done some commercials that feel and smell like the regular 30s. And basically, you can almost hear people in the room saying, Donald, Mr. Trump, what we need to do is just have you do your clips from your speeches, because they've been so well covered. Just do that and you'll be fine. But here's a guy who's spent 40 years branding casinos, hotels, vodkas, that went away, universities, that went away. But he's a brander, so you'd think he'd bump into one or two creative people along the line that would say, let me do you a great commercial.
So you're saying he needs help there, but in terms of the personal branding and the earned media, nobody's better.
He's a master. Let me just say, let me do a Trumpian for you. His ads are putrid, okay? They are terrible.
But the earned media is awesome. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at some of the stuff that your students really like. This is a Bernie Sanders ad, Simon and Garfunkel. It's a minute long. We're just going to air a chunk of it.
Let us be lovers, we'll marry our fortunes together. I've got some real estate here in my bag. Counting the cars on the New Jersey Turnpike, they've all come to.
Now, I don't really know what that's an ad for. There was nothing about issues or anything else, but that was great television.
Well, yeah, it makes you feel good. And it takes you back to those days. I mean, it floods you with nostalgia. I know you and I talked about that. He's got an ad. If you go to Together, Bernie Sanders commercial, it's so sublime and powerful. And I thought this was going to be probably the best early primaries commercial. And
so we're aimed at Iowa. We're milking the cows or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
But the Together thing is even stronger.
Before we get to the Hillary ad, let's talk to Will in Loudoun County. Will, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to know what you see as the top 5 propaganda techniques that are common in these presidential campaign ads.
Great question. Thank you very much. Is propaganda a fair word?
Oh, sure. Maybe with a lowercase p. I mean, this goes back to the Soviet Union. Propaganda techniques. Well, I know that the components of a very good commercial are that you grab attention, you break through the clutter, you brand yourself so it can't be anyone else's spot. If you can use emotion in a positive way as well as a negative way, those are very good techniques. I think if you add a great voiceover, which we're going to hear in a second, and decent music, you'll go up 5 or 6%, and that's enough to really get people's attention.
All right, Drew wasn't talking about my voiceover. He was talking about Morgan Freeman If you want to sell something, you really ought to find Morgan Freeman. This is a Hillary Clinton spot. It's a minute long again. We'll just listen to about half of it.
Her church taught her to do all the good you can, for all the people you can, for as long as you can. After law school, she could have joined a high-priced law firm, but instead, she worked to reform juvenile justice in South Carolina, exposed racism in Alabama schools.
Now, I think we named all the states in the SEC primary there. What do you think of the spot? And what did your students think of it?
Oh, it went through the roof in terms of numbers, because we look at 10 kind of metrics, and they gave them great numbers all the way through. As I watched this, it's not just his voice. His voice is fabulous, but the music is so much, and the edits, the dissolves between those images are beautiful. It's not just the voice, although that is fabulous.
Where do political advertisers go wrong? What's out about, either from a marketing standpoint or a legal standpoint? What can't you do?
Well, that's a great question.
I don't think there's much.
There isn't. Well, the last weekend and the last week with people slinging stuff, don't confuse that with what has to go in an ad. A station, a network, a channel will still reject stuff that is unsupportable if you make a claim, and they fact check like crazy. So there have been a lot of commercials that have been rejected. In terms of the worst mistake a political advertiser can make, is be predictable. It's to blend in like that first spot. This should be another political ad. What you have to do is, I think we mentioned this last time, our class looks for, like Thomas Jefferson did when he was rewriting the Bible, he was looking for diamonds in a dunghill, he said. That's what we're looking for. And there are great political spots, and you got to dig for them.
On the list of the great ones, Morning in America?
Absolutely. Reagan's, and this Rubio retake, although the first time I saw this last week, he did it all negative as opposed to Reagan's all positive. And it's pretty strong.
Darkness in America? What was it called?
Kind of. But they made a mistake. They opened on instead of like Reagan had this beautiful tugboat in a harbor, they bought a piece of stock footage that happened to be Canada. So the joke was it's morning in Canada.
Well, that happened to Trump with one of his web things, or an actual ad where he was talking about veterans.
That was one of his real spots.
It was some Russians, right?
It was all these people with stars all over. Wait a minute, Don. It was the wrong war.
The media landscape has changed. I mean, it's all fragmented, polarized. How does that affect what the campaigns need to do?
Well, for a while, people have been allocating a lot more money to digital and social. And until Trump decided to run some ads, it looked like it might be, at least the leading candidate might have a spotless campaign. He finally jumped in and did it. I think this cycle will go down as one of the last in which media advertising, paid media advertising, was overwhelmingly the strongest thing. I think it's going to continue to lose its power.
Well, when it gets good and nasty, we'll have you on again.
Good.
Drew Babb of Drew Babb and Associates and American University. Always fun. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you, Jeff. Take care.
Appreciate it. Just ahead tonight, what you need to know about the Zika virus. We'll be right back.
Tonight on MPT.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, this is Mike. This is a guitar pick from one of the greatest rock musicians ever.
Jimi Hendrix was playing and dropped his guitar pick. It was within reach, but I was 12 years old, so I asked him after the song was over if I could have it, and he handed it to me.
What are these Hendrix mementos worth today? Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow from Charleston, South Carolina.
Tonight at 8 on MPT.
Next time on the Dr. Blake Mysteries.
Cause of death, smoke inhalation.
A fire kills a movie theater projectionist.
He was breathing when the fire started.
Then why didn't he get out of there? The victim's manager is running a scam.
He's robbing the distributor, then falsifying the records.
But Blake keeps coming back to one question.
Why would someone light a fire?
And the answer might be in a movie.
Have you ever edited film before?
The Dr. Blake Mysteries.
Tonight at 10 on MPT.
Here's a peek at the next Chesapeake collectibles.
Ready, set, go.
The white metal is platinum.
Some people know Curry and Ives for their kittens and Santa Claus and children.
This is Afghanistan folk art.
I have never heard of a Union stamp on a Confederate letter.
Wow. Join us for Chesapeake Collectibles this week.
Thursday night at 8 on MPT.
In the studio now for this week's Your Health segment is Dr. Matthew Laurens, Associate Professor at the University of Maryland School of Medicine's Institute for Global Health. Doctor, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me here, Jeff.
The Zika virus is in the news. Let's start with the basics. What is it?
So Zika virus is a virus that's transmitted by the bite of an infected mosquito. And after that bite occurs, virus can be transmitted and causes symptoms including joint pain, rash, red eyes, and fever. Only about 1 in 5 folks actually have those symptoms, so it's a minority that have the symptoms. And they generally occur about 5 days after a mosquito bite, and they might last for about 5 days as well.
I'm sure there's plenty of diseases, viruses I've never heard of, but I don't recall having heard about this prior to a few months ago.
That's true. It has been a hot topic in the news lately, and it's possible that outbreaks have been occurring for many years. But so Zika was first isolated from a monkey, actually, in 1947 from the Zika forest in Uganda. And then first cases in humans weren't diagnosed actually until 1954 in Nigeria. And then serious outbreaks didn't occur until 2007 on Yap Island in Micronesia, and then the virus spread east to French Polynesia in 2013, and then in 2015 to Brazil. But it's possible that many outbreaks might have been occurring during the same time. We just didn't have the diagnostics to know what was going on in areas of Africa and Asia.
So we don't know a whole lot about what happened decades ago, but in terms of what's been happening over the last year or two, has it exploded in intensity, or are we just learning more about it?
That's a great question. We're still learning a lot about Zika virus. There's a lot we don't know. And what we do know is that there are large numbers of people who don't have immunity to Zika virus. So we think that has fueled the spread of Zika virus to new areas where it hasn't been reported previously. That, together with a competent mosquito vector, the Anopheles aegypti mosquito that carries Zika virus, has led to the widespread Zika outbreak that's currently ongoing.
So it's a particular mosquito?
It's generally the Aedes aegypti mosquito. There are also other vectors, particularly Aedes albopticus, that's a potential vector as well, but it's generally the Aedes aegypti that spreads it.
Are those mosquitoes prevalent in North America?
There are populations of Aedes aegypti in southeastern United States, particularly in areas of Texas and Florida. They don't extend north of DC, but there are areas of the U.S. that have the competent vector.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question about the Zika virus, please give us a call. We will have the number on the screen, or tweet your questions, Twitter address @MPT News. So how worried should we be? If you or I came down with this, how big a problem would it be?
Well, we certainly would not expect to see symptoms in the majority of folks. So most folks who get it actually won't even know they have it. But there is a concern for potential side effects, and those serious side effects could include what's being investigated now, and that's microcephaly, as well as Guillain-Barré syndrome.
And the microcephaly is the babies being born with abnormally small skulls, and the pictures are heartbreaking. How firm is the link?
It's being investigated. It's becoming a bit more strong as the studies are ongoing and research efforts are ongoing to establish that link. But the definite biologic plausibility is still being investigated. So we think we have a handle on it, but there's more that needs to be done.
Let's take a call. Arlington, Virginia. This is Sarah. Sarah, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Hi. There have been reports on TV about Zika virus affecting some adults, not just pregnant women, but adults with neurological issues, neurological problems.
Sarah, thank you very much.
That's a great question. So there have been reports of what's called Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is a neurologic manifestation where the body's immune system actually attacks nerve cells and might cause weakness in muscles and even paralysis and potentially loss of the ability to breathe. So it can be quite serious. It's been reported in a very minority of patients in previous outbreaks, including in Micronesia. So it's possible that that could be occurring.
Let's go out to Talbot County. This is Bob. Bob, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Jeff, good evening. My wife and I are considering going to Puerto Rico in the next couple of weeks. We're both early 70s, good health. What should we be doing to really protect ourselves from this virus?
Bob, have a great trip. Thank you for the call. We'll get the answer on the air. What do you say?
That's a great question. And there are things that you can do to protect yourself in Puerto Rico, not only against the Zika virus, but against all viruses or other diseases that are carried by mosquitoes, and that's to avoid mosquitoes. So mosquito avoidance techniques, including wearing long sleeves and pants, sleeping inside of screened rooms or under bed nets, using insect repellents according to package instructions and reapplying frequently, and also spraying your clothing and travel gear with permethrin, which actually lasts for 6 to 8 washings to prevent mosquitoes.
So correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like we shouldn't panic except for potentially pregnant women. Would you be overreacting if you were pregnant or potentially pregnant to cancel a trip to South America, Puerto Rico, what have you?
That's actually what the CDC is recommending to be done currently, is for women who are pregnant or thinking of becoming pregnant to actually postpone travel to areas where Zika is circulating. So if that is unavoidable, then use every means you can to avoid mosquitoes if you are traveling to those areas.
Jack in Prince George's County. Jack, thanks for the call. Go ahead.
Yeah, if I am bit by one of these mosquitoes and another of the same variety mosquito that doesn't have the virus bites me, does it get it and then transmit it from me?
Very good. Thank you.
So generally not. There are only certain mosquitoes that are able to carry this virus and transmit it to others. And the most common is the Aedes aegypti that we've already talked about.
But I think you said sexual transmission is possible.
Sexual transmission is possible.
We're not talking mosquitoes having sex, right?
That's right. So there are about 6 cases that the CDC has currently investigated of probable or confirmed sexual transmission. So it's a mode of transmission we didn't think was likely earlier, but it's becoming clear that it could be a potentially important means of transmission.
What do we know about the research to create a vaccine?
Great question. So there are many vaccine candidates already being investigated, but the road to vaccine development is quite long. For instance, the dengue vaccine, which is a related flavivirus, it took about 15 years to develop the first candidate. So we are potentially seeing in the clinics the vaccine being tested later this year, but it won't be available for prime time for several years.
Let's talk to Joanne in Prince William. Joanne, thanks for the call. Go ahead.
Hi, my question is, if most people who get the virus don't even know they have it, do they not then become a vector and mosquitoes can bite them and infect other people? And then, you know, the other people will have no idea where they got it.
Great question. Thanks again.
That's a good point. So humans are reservoirs for mosquitoes to bite and then pass on the infection to subsequent humans. So they are reservoirs of infection during that 7-day period when they have virus circulating.
You have a travel medicine clinic at the University of Maryland as well. How many questions about this are you getting?
We're getting several questions, especially about areas where Zika has not yet been transmitted or documented to be transmitted, but potentially close to those areas where it is documented, and how concerned should people be. But for the most part, we give travel advice to avoid mosquitoes, to avoid malaria, to avoid chikungunya, to avoid dengue, as well as Zika virus. And the same advice pretty much applies to all for mosquito avoidance.
Looking ahead to the upcoming summer around here, how much concern will there be, do you think?
Well, certainly we expect the mosquito populations in the southeastern United States to increase during that time period. So the Aedes aegypti mosquito would increase, and the potential for spread would be more likely with more mosquitoes around.
All right, Dr. Matt Lawrence, University of Maryland, thank you for your time.
Thanks very much.
We appreciate it. Thursday at this time on Your Money and Business, fresh ideas to help you save for the future. And join us Friday for State Circle and the latest on Maryland politics. Now, for all of us at MPT, I'm Jeff Salkin. Thanks for watching and have a good night.
Your health segments are a co-production of Maryland Public Television and the University of Maryland Medical System.
This program was made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities.